You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Just so you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of When Stars Fall. Yeah, the first episode had quite an impact. Y'all loved it, so here I am to deliver more. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go! Is there anything else you'd like to know? Monster slaying. Monster slaying? Like fighting and killing goblins and slimes and things. Indeed. There are many creatures in the world that mean to harm people. Adventurers and mages are often hard to dispatch of those threats. However, most of the time, they're just hired to reduce the number of giant rats in a town's sewers or push back some smaller monsters that may be getting close to a city's borders. Is there anything else? Is there anything else you'd like to know? Magic. Mystical, arcanum, mages. Are you saying that magic is a real thing and the Academy can teach it to people? Oh, right. Without your memory, I suppose you wouldn't have knowledge of it. Magic is quite real, and with proper training and study, just about anyone can learn to wield it. Silas made a simple hand gesture in the air, and a small mote of light floated in the air between us. You just made light! Silas chuckled. With a twitch of his index finger, the ball of light shifted between different hues of colors and danced around the inside of the carriage. I was mesmerized. As the light danced in front of me, I reached out and touched it gingerly. My hand passed through it, briefly disrupting the glow, but otherwise leaving it unaffected. It's amazing! Silas smiled softly at me. Yes, it is. With a dismissive wave of his hand, the light vanished. Magic is my favorite thing in the world and my passion. That's why I'm joining the Academy. I want to learn more about it and learn how to utilize it in many ways. While my family and peers all expect me to excel in the mage course and be top of the class like all the generations of Teaglins before me, I have no interest in doing that for them. I'm doing this for myself. Silas gave me a considering look. You know, we still have a bit of travel time until we reach the Academy. If you like, I could try to teach you some of the basics of magic. Shall I let Silas try and teach me? Yes. Sure, it can be fun to learn some basics. Silas grinned. Wonderful. We can start the lesson shortly. Is there anything else you'd like to know? Not Silas. What are you? If it's not too rude to ask, what exactly are you? Not that I can say for sure with the amnesia and all, but I don't think I've ever seen a foxman before. It's a little rude, but I'll let it slide considering your circumstances. Silas winked at me. I'm a beast man. We're a race of humanoid animals. In the past, most of my kind had secluded themselves and avoided civilization out of fear. We were hunted and slayed as monsters. It's only been in this past century that we've integrated ourselves into society at large. While we're still in a minority in many areas, it's not uncommon to see us around now. In fact, there have been quite a lot of beastmen attending and graduating from the Academy in recent years. I'm sure you'll meet many more of us. Are beastmen still hunted or treated like monsters? Silas's expression turned somber. Most nobles and politicians would tell you no, that beastmen have been welcomed into society and have equal rights with the other humanoid races. In truth, there are still many beastmen who are persecuted and killed for spite and sport. There are even rumors that beastmen hides are sold at a high price in the black markets. People still fear and hate us in many places, if only less openly. But let us not dwell on that for now. Is there anything else you would like to know? Family. Not to pry or anything, but your carriage and clothes seem high class. Is your family rich or something? Silas seemed to hesitate for a moment before answering. Yes, suffice to say my family is well off, and as distasteful as it is, they enjoy letting people know it. My family has been attending the Academy for a while, and is one of the cornerstone families that support the Academy. I couldn't say no to attending the Academy, even though I am the youngest of my siblings. The honor of the family rests on my shoulders, and I am expected to uphold our legacy at the Academy. I may not like the added expectations. It's always been my dream to attend the Academy, family name or not. You had mentioned earlier that all you can recall is your name. Do you remember your family name? Your last name? My family name is Carver. Marcus Carver. I like it. Though I can't say your surname stands out in my memory, I'm sure we can look into public records for possible matches at the Academy. I sure hope so. Is there anything else you'd like to know? I think I know enough for now. Fair enough. Shall we start your magic lessons now? I leaned forward in my seat. For a moment I forgot about my current situation. I was excited to learn more about magic and learn more about magic and using it. Yes! Silas smiled. I'll skip over magical theory and the origin of magic, since they'll likely go over all of that at the Academy if you go into a magic-affiliated program. The most basic information about magic you should know is that this world is infused with it to the very core. An energy known as mana suffuses the earth, the air, and all living things to some degree. 1 second, y'all. Water time. Be gone, hair. Okay. Without even realizing it, your body naturally absorbs and expends mana constantly. Mages train to harness the mana in and around them. By controlling the flow of mana, they are able to use magic for various purposes. Mana and magic have been used in combination with technology, giving birth to arcanum devices and arcanums, or arcanums for short. The technique for infusing objects with mana is known as enchantment weaving. There are actually special courses offered for mages that want to become architects and work on the arcanums, and... Silas took one look at my confused expression, chuckled, and rubbed the back of his neck. My apologies, I tend to get excited when discussing magic. Forgive me for getting ahead of myself. What you really need to know is that by sensing the mana inside of you and around you, you can learn to manipulate it and use magic. The first step is to know your own mana. Close your eyes. I did as he said. Good. Now I want you to focus on your breathing and relax your body. You want me to focus and relax? Indeed. Seems like an oxymoron, but alright. I focus on each breath in and out. Am I supposed to just breathe? How many breaths? Should I breathe fast or maybe slow? Crap, I forgot to relax. I heard Silas shift from his seat, and then I felt the cushion move slightly as he sat next to me. Easy now. Deep breath in, I breathed. And now out, I exhaled. Good. Again. In deep and out slow. I focused on my breaths again, syncing them with Silas's instructions. Perfect. Now, as you exhale, feel the tension in your body melt away. Let your muscles relax. I breathed in and then out. This time I shifted my focus to my body. With each breath out, I brought my focus downward from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. With each mental pass and exhale, my muscles relaxed. You're pretty good at this, Marcus. The next step is to envision the mana inside of your body, and to feel its flow as it courses through your body. Imagine a pool of water inside of your gut. Connected to this pool are hundreds of rivers that bring water into the pool and let the water flow out again in a constant cycle. So, like a heart, but instead of pumping blood, it pumps mana? Very astute, yes. However, the pool of mana isn't in your chest. It resides in your gut. Here. I felt his hand press firmly into my abdomen and linger, just below my navel. I tensed a little, but focused on my breathing and forced myself to relax again. His hand is so warm. In my mind, I followed the warmth of his hand into my abdomen and imagined that well of power deep within my gut. I followed each branching river from that well in my mind's eye as the mana coursed through my whole body. I opened my eyes. Now, feel your mana rise from that well and travel through your arm to your hand. Then copy my hand movements and say, Magaluximus. I watched him carefully and mimicked the motions he made, all the while imagining my mana flowing upward into my hand. Magaluximus. I felt the mana course out of my palm and cupped a small orb of light. I did it! I actually used magic! I smiled broadly and looked at Silas. He seemed pleased. Impressive. You managed to do it on your first try. Too bad for someone who's never used magic before. Not bad for someone who's never used magic before. Thank you for teaching me. I waved my hand in a dismissive fashion like I saw Silas do earlier and the light vanished. Nice work. Perhaps you have a chance at getting into the mage program at the academy. Will you teach me more? Perhaps in a while. It's best to let your mana recover. The more you use it without replenishing your own reserve, you increase the risk of a burnout. A burnout? Yes. Everyone has a limited amount of internal mana. It varies from person to person. Some have more than others, some have less. It's still unknown exactly what determines a person's inherent amount of mana. Regardless, if you expend your mana reserves and keep pushing, you will burn out. So if I burn out, I won't be able to cast spells until I have more mana? Silas' expression turned serious. Yes, but there's an even greater risk that you could lose yourself to magic entirely or expend your own life force. Think of magic like a flame, and mana is oxygen. Give the flame enough oxygen and it will thrive. Too little it will go out. Too much and you risk an out-of-control blaze. Magic is about balance and knowing your own limits. If you push past those limits too hard and too often, you can end up killing yourself. That is what it means to burn out. It's like, water time. Alright. Oh, I see, so magic is really dangerous. True, however, it's no more dangerous than picking up a sword and charging into a battle. Give enough practice and experience, you can master magic, and the risk of burnout at that point is minuscule. For now, just focus on feeling the mana inside of you and knowing how it flows in and out. Based on the amount of mana you use to cast a Mage Light spell, it shouldn't be too long before it's replenished. In the meantime, Silas glanced over to the bar under the window. May I offer you some refreshments? To be frank, they packed entirely too much food. After all, it was only Mr. Jurda, my coachman, and myself traveling. I was beginning to worry that much of it would go to waste. Oh, sure, thanks. Silas prepared a small plate of bread and cheese for us. He then opened a bottle and poured the liquid into 2 glasses and handed one to me. The liquid was an amber color and seemed rather thick, but it smelled sweet. It reminded me slightly of honey. So, Marcus, what shall we toast to? New friends. To making new friends with a kind traveler. Silas blinked at that, and then grinned broadly, his tail swishing slightly against the seat. Indeed, here's to the start of a great friendship. We clinked our glasses together and drank. Whatever it was sweet. Despite its viscosity, it actually went down smooth, but left a slight burning sensation which wasn't unpleasant. Oh, yum. This is delicious. What is it? Elder honey wine. It's imported from a continent to the west. Quite expensive, but well worth it. Oh, I see. Thank you for sharing it. I just wish it could have been saved for a better occasion. Nonsense. What better occasion than to celebrate the company of an interesting and handsome traveling companion? I felt heat rising to my cheeks. Stupid alcohol. Several hours passed while Silas and I chatted about various subjects. He mostly filled me in on different facts and events about the world. He still hadn't moved from his place by my side, even though I assumed he would right after our lesson had ended. It was nice being able to chat with him like this. It seemed more natural than sitting across from each other in separate seats. Honestly, the history lesson was a bit boring, but seeing how excited Silas got when he talked about magic and great mages, I couldn't help but be just as excited. He made this world sound so fantastic. When my memories come back, I hope I remember some amazing things about magic and mages. As Silas and I talked, the scenery around us changed. Before we were traveling on an open road without much around aside from open fields and sparse trees. Along the way, we started getting into a wooded area. The trees had become much denser and the road narrower, but it's still easily traversable. Soon we were surrounded by large trees. Many leaves had begun to turn various shades of red and orange as if they wanted to mimic sunsets they had witnessed. It must be fall then. So, I can remember fall in the other seasons, but I can't even remember where I'm from? Not cool, brain! Before I knew it, the sun was just starting to set. Whoa, how long have we been talking? It had been a few hours, but it only felt like minutes getting to chat with him. Even though he's a stranger, I feel safe with Silas. Like I could talk with him about anything and he'd listen or share a story of his own that would make me look at the world from a whole new perspective. It's weird. I don't feel like I've known him, but there's still this feeling of familiarity. Silas cleared his throat, pulling me from my thoughts. Are you alright? Huh? You've been staring at me in silence for 2 minutes now. Crap! And my cheeks heated. Sorry, I was just lost in thought. Oh, did you remember something? Silas raised an eyebrow in anticipation. No, well, yes, sort of. I saw the leaves outside and knew that meant that it was fall. It made me wonder why I could remember something like that and nothing else. The mind is a mysterious thing. Perhaps the colors had a special meaning to you and that's what helped you remember. Or perhaps it is something so basic that you couldn't forget. After all, even without your memories, you're still able to walk and talk and do other things that seem natural to most people. Silas placed a hand on my knee. I'm sure your memories are still there. You just have to give yourself some time. He glanced out the carriage window. Looks like it's about time we stopped for the night and set up camp. We're camping out here? In the woods? Yes. Wouldn't it be better to keep going until we reach the academy? It shouldn't be too far, right? Second, y'all. Water time. Okay, all down. We did make exceptional headway, however. I'd estimate we still have about 4 more hours of travel ahead of us until we reach the academy. Traveling at night is inadvisable. Putting aside the possibility of running into bandits, there are monsters that also enjoy hunting at night for easy targets. Should we push through the night and tire the horses, that is exactly what we will be. Camping in the woods with who knows what is better? Sure, that makes so much more sense. The carriage pulled off the road and we made our way into the woods a short distance, just far enough to not be seen from the road. I'm sure you know better than the amnesiac, but isn't camping in the middle of the woods even more dangerous? The carriage pulled to a halt and Silas stood and opened the door, allowing me to exit first before exiting himself. When I got outside, I saw Mr. Jorda hop down from the front of the carriage and walk up to the horses. I hadn't really paid him much mind before because he didn't seem out of place, but I hadn't known about beastmen and other races. He was an older man with salt and pepper hair and a receding hairline. His beard matched the hair on his head and was well groomed. He wore a simple white shirt and vest, nothing near as fancy as Silas's outfit, but it definitely seemed a step above what I assumed common clothes would look like. I turned back toward Silas. Don't worry your handsome little head. We brought a tent. That doesn't make me feel any better. Silas made his way to the back of the carriage and I followed him. Attached to the back between the wheels was a trunk of sorts. It wasn't too big, just large enough for a few essential supplies, I guess, and I wondered how they'd fit a tent inside of it, but Silas opened it and pulled out a cube. It was kind of small and fit in the palm of his hand. He held it out for me to see. Ta-da! Nice cube? Why, thank you. I appreciate the hint of sarcasm as well. This is the tent I was telling you about. I'm guessing it's magic, then? Is it one of those arcanums you mentioned? Silas gave me a wide grin. Handsome and smart. What a dangerous combo. Yes, this is an arcanum. It doesn't look like much now, but it has a larger inner capacity than its outside appearances would suggest. Come with me. Silas guided me a short distance from the camp, from the carriage to a small clearing where the trees didn't grow close together. He grabbed my hand and handed me the cube. Alright, lesson 2. In order to use an arcanum device, you first have to know what it does. Well, technically you don't have to know. Sometimes it's fun to just wing it, but if you know what it does beforehand, it helps avoid using one that may have been designed with a more explosive or dangerous purpose. Anyway, you know that this is a tent. All you have to do is toss it to where you want it to be, then speak its command word. Pitch. I stepped forward and tossed the cube to a spot that seemed relatively clear. Pitch. As the cube tumbled toward the place I aimed for, it opened and broke apart. As it disassembled, colorful cloth and rods sprung out and began to fit together. Several clicks and whirs later, there was now a small tent pitched and anchored to the ground, right where I tossed the cube. Magic is so cool! Wow, that was awesome! I should have you pitch a tent for me more often. Good job. And my joy was short-lived as I noticed the size of the tent. That doesn't look big enough for 3. They were traveling with just the 2 of them, so it probably wasn't an issue. Oh, 1 second. 1 second, y'all. Hair, get off. So it probably wasn't an issue to fit them both in close proximity, but trying to fit a third likely wouldn't work unless the 2 of us were spooning or something. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks, search if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!